Imagine that right now there is a younger woman you like, someone from church or from work, or a female neighbor down the street, or a friend of a friend, and she is giving you small signs, subtle hints, quiet signals that she genuinely likes you, but you are not sure how to take it from being just friends to tearing her clothes off right on your body. I know men who secretly like their female friends and stay stuck there for years. I know other men who ruin it because they act awkward and clumsy with the woman they like, and they receive coldness or a polite rejection when she tells them that she sees them more as a friend. So maybe you have that female friend, and you wish there were an easy and reliable way to make her feel sexually aroused by you, and to do it quickly within just a few minutes, without making things awkward and without frightening her. I am Julia, your trusted male health advisor. In this video, we will cover how to influence sexual hormones directly inside the female body to create rapid arousal, explore the biochemical mechanisms behind female sexual stimulation, explain why women respond very differently from men to sexual input, and most importantly, demonstrate targeted touch techniques that can flood her body with oxytocin and testosterone almost instantly. Finally, we will cover an eye contact method that creates a sexual chemical response without touching her at all. Before we begin, please press the like button, leave a comment to tell me where you are watching from, and subscribe so you never miss important information. Now let me share what you need to know. Let me be direct with you. Most men try random tactics without understanding what is actually happening inside her body, and that is why they fail. So let me show you the correct sequence. Press the subscribe button because what we are discussing today is based on sexual biochemistry and female psychology that most men never learn. Let us start with why men and women are fundamentally different when it comes to arousal. We are driven by different chemical hormones in the brain. Men have roughly 10 to 20 times more testosterone than women. High testosterone releases dopamine in the brain, which creates pleasure. In men, testosterone is also responsible for sexual desire. When testosterone is high, you want sex intensely. You become highly aroused. Now this is where it becomes interesting. Women, on the other hand, have much higher levels of a different hormone compared to men, and that hormone is oxytocin. Oxytocin is a powerful sexual hormone that floods the female brain with bonding signals toward another person. For example, when a woman breastfeeds her infant, her body releases large amounts of oxytocin to bond with the baby. Oxytocin also floods her body when she reaches orgasm, helping her bond with the man during intercourse. But wait, there is something else happening here that most men do not realize. When a woman is touched by a man, especially at sensitive hotspot areas, with a high density of nerve endings, such as the wrist or the neck, oxytocin is released throughout her body. To activate this oxytocin response without making her feel uncomfortable, you must learn how to move beneath her awareness threshold. The biggest mistake men make is using awkward, unnatural touch that immediately triggers a defensive response in women. The key here is naturalness. Start by using your hands more while you talk. Observe Italian men. They constantly use hand gestures to express themselves. When your hands are already moving naturally in the space between you, a brief touch on her shoulder or arm to emphasize a point feels normal and carries no hidden intent. This means that if you want to make your female friend feel sexually aroused, you must flood her body with oxytocin. Flood her body with testosterone as well. Both are extremely powerful sex hormones. One proven and reliable way to do this is through physical contact. Touch areas of the body that have a high concentration of nerve endings. Touch the wrist. Touch the neck. Touch the inner elbow. Touch the upper thigh. This is something most people do not realize. Have you ever experienced a moment when a female friend lightly touched your shoulder or gave your hand a brief tap, and suddenly it felt like an explosion, like a lightning strike out of nowhere? You suddenly saw that woman in a completely different light. You suddenly felt a tingling sensation for her. You began to feel sexual sparks. You may have even become aroused out of nowhere. And before that moment, you were not even thinking much about her. She may not have been especially attractive to you. In women, this touch response is actually 10 times stronger. The emotional impact of touch is 10 times more powerful, 10 times stronger. That is why even a small, innocent, well-placed touch can transform you from a good male friend into a potential lover, into her next potential partner almost instantly. Just like that, within seconds. Keep this in mind because it connects directly to the specific techniques I am about to show you. Now I am going to share some of my favorite methods for touching a female friend in a way that increases arousal while staying beneath her conscious radar. Here is something most men do not understand about casual touch. When you are talking to a woman and you reach out and touch her while speaking, this is called incidental touch. You are simply touching her naturally in the flow of conversation. It carries almost no social consequence. Incidental touch is completely normal and appropriate in conversation as long as you are already gesturing. But if your hands are in your pockets or crossed over your chest, and then you suddenly reach out and touch her, notice how much distance your hand has to travel. Now it is obvious that you are reaching toward her. It becomes highly noticeable, and that is why it feels awkward. When you are already gesturing, your hand only needs to move a few inches. And then you touch her. That touch triggers the oxytocin response and increases arousal. She may act as if she did not notice the touch, but trust me, she did. She is fully aware that she has been stimulated. The first technique I want to share is called the jewelry check. If she is wearing a necklace or a bracelet, gently reach out and ask about it. The wrist and neck are areas with an extremely high density of nerve endings. When you lightly touch her bracelet to look at it, you are indirectly stimulating one of her most sensitive zones. If she is not wearing jewelry, move to skin comparison. You can bring your arm closer and comment on the difference in skin tone between the two of you. A gentle touch on the forearm to compare is not only harmless, but also a perfect excuse to break the physical barrier. Another even more powerful technique is hand comparison. Ask her to hold her hand up so you can see how small it is compared to yours. Holding her hand for 5 to 10 seconds while comparing size creates a much longer physical connection than a brief accidental touch. This is where oxytocin works most effectively, sending signals of protection and masculinity directly to her brain. In addition, do not forget the power of guiding touch. When the two of you are walking together, lightly place your hand on her elbow or at her lower back to guide her through a crowd or through a doorway. These are instinctive, protective male gestures that activate a biological response to masculine leadership. She may not consciously register it, but her body will begin to feel safety and attraction toward you. The truth is that women are approximately 10 times more sensitive to touch than men. A light touch on her knee when she says something funny can send a sudden electrical signal through her entire nervous system. But remember the golden rule: touch and release. Do not hold on too long and create discomfort. Let her begin to desire the next touch from you. Now imagine you are using these touches and you notice her pupils beginning to dilate. Have you ever wondered whether there is a way to create that same heat without touching her at all? Can your eyes alone do that? Let me explain another aspect of stimulating a female friend without any physical contact. Making a woman feel aroused does not have to rely solely on physical touch. You can also make her feel aroused purely through the way you look at her. Most men completely fail at this. They look at a woman's face in general, but not into her eyes. Or they make eye contact that is very neutral and friendly. Or they struggle to maintain eye contact at all. I can assure you that if you do any of these things, she will not feel any sexual chemical response toward you, and she will experience you as just a friend. That is how men end up in the friend zone. If you want her to feel aroused and stimulated, what you must do instead is give her brief, predatory glances, subtle, erotic looks. This is very simple. When she is speaking to you, choose one of her pupils and focus on that pupil. Then imagine having sex with her while she is talking to you. That is essentially it. Imagine having sex with her. Imagine her naked. Imagine pulling her in and kissing her. This is where everything changes. While you are talking to her, you deliberately slow your pace. When you speak to her, you slow your rhythm with longer pauses. You begin to elongate your vowels as you speak. You imagine her naked. Sexual eye contact creates a sexual connection with her. Your sexual thoughts subtly change your pupils. They give you what is often called bedroom eyes or predator eyes. She begins to feel aroused. This works because a woman tends to feel whatever you are feeling. Most men try to hide their sexuality. They try to suppress their sexual thoughts around a woman. As a result, they project only a friendly energy. She feels friendship and nothing more. That is how they are placed in the friend zone. But when you allow yourself to feel sexual desire for her and you do not hide it, when you are simply open to that energy, she will begin to feel it as well. The most important lesson I want you to remember today is that arousal begins with confidence and ends with connection. You cannot make someone feel aroused if you do not feel that arousal within your own body at a cellular level. Use incidental touch as a way to explore and build oxytocin. Use your gaze and your voice to create sexual tension. Above all, always be the one who leads in this emotional dynamic. When you gain control of your own body and mind, you will see that 4 minutes is more than enough to completely shift the direction of a relationship. Do not accept being trapped in the friend zone simply because you are afraid to express your masculine identity. Begin applying these techniques the next time you meet the woman you are interested in. Observe how she responds, how her pupils dilate, and how she begins to look for reasons to touch you in return. That is when you know you have succeeded in awakening the instinctive desire within her. If these in-depth insights from a male sexual health perspective have been helpful to you, subscribe to Dr. Julia's channel so we can continue exploring self-mastery together in future discussions. Do not forget to leave a comment with the topic you would like me to analyze more deeply in the next video. I am Dr. Julia. Thank you for listening, and always remember that your confidence is something you choose for yourself. Goodbye and see you again soon.